I am just starting to record our webinar today for those folks who can't be here, or if you want to rewatch any portions of the webinar. This is a new concept in 2020 to do webinars for our event exhibitors to just make sure everybody is prepared and ready for the show. So thank you all for being with us. Let me hang on one second. All right. There we go. All right. So this is SUSTA's region. As you all know, we're headquartered in New Orleans, but we cover the whole South. So we work really closely with the Departments of Agriculture in each of these southern states. They are our members, and they are really how SUSTA is able to function. We have a staff of 13 in our headquarters in New Orleans, and then the Departments of Agriculture are really our activity managers. They're the ones who travel to the shows. They introduce us to all of the companies that participate in our programs, and we really value them as partners. And I'll introduce who will be with us from the states in a minute. But we also have foreign consultants who are based around the world. And in Europe, we have Phaff Export Marketing as our consultants. So those of you who have been to Fruit Logistica have met Victor and Roseanne. They are our team who will be at the show. This is their contact information should you need anything leading up to the event or during the event. That is Roseanne's mobile number on the screen. And Roseanne will be giving a portion of this presentation today. So these are their friendly faces. And then our two activity managers that are going to be on this event are Deb May from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services and Michelle Wang from North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. So you will see their friendly faces at the show as well. And then for this show, something else that's fairly new in the last couple of years is Bernadette, our executive director, brings some of our commissioners to different SUSTA events. So for this show this year, we have the Texas Commissioner of Agriculture, Sid Miller. He's also the president of the SUSTA board. And we also have Rick Pate, who is the commissioner of the Alabama Department of Agriculture, and his deputy commissioner, Tammy Culver. So you will see them. Victor will be arriving with them and bringing them around the SUSTA pavilion. So please keep a lookout for their faces as well. We're excited to show them this event, and I know they're excited to be there with all of you. I just wanted to mention a few brief reminders before I pass the presentation over to Roseanne. Surveys. I know you probably get so sick of us talking about surveys, but this is a USDA requirement that's part of our programs, and we are required to survey our companies twice. Once immediately following the show, and then again 6 months later as the concluding survey. You can find your surveys when you log into your MySUSTA account. If you have trouble logging in, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you troubleshoot that. But you'll see this little survey tile with there's an indication that this person has one survey available. So the Fruit Logistica surveys are going to go live in your account on February 6th, which is the day before the end of the show. And then they're due by February 13th, and then again August 6th for the concluding survey, which you'll get a reminder, don't worry. And those will be due August 13th. So we really can't stress enough how important these surveys are. It's the only way that we can really evaluate our programs and what we're doing and how we're doing, and get your valuable feedback. So thank you in advance for doing that. And then I just wanted to mention we have one other produce event that we are organizing. It is going to be in Canada, in Toronto, in May, and it's the CPMA trade show. So this is dedicated, again, just a produce event in Canada. This is our participation fee, and it includes your booth and furniture, a retail market tour, and reimbursement of up to $500 in sample shipping costs. So the registration deadline is coming up. It is February 12th. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And then I also wanted to mention if anybody's exhibiting at the PMA Fresh Summit, that is a trade show that's on the list of approved domestic shows. So companies can apply for 50% reimbursement of their booth fees and other related expenses, but not travel, through our cost share program. So again, if you have questions, please be in touch with me at any time. And then one exciting change in our programs happened this week. On Monday, it was announced that there was a regulation change to SUSTA's programs. We used to have a 5-year graduation rule for the cost share program. If you had been reimbursed for international promotions in, let's say, Germany for 5 years, then you were considered graduated from that country and you couldn't keep getting reimbursements. Well, that rule has been eliminated. So now if you had graduated from a country in the past, you can now apply for 50% cost share reimbursements for eligible promotions in that country. Of course, we already have our 2020 cost share manual printed, so the PDF version of the manual online has been changed, but our print version, of course, we can't change. So we are sending out little mailers. I just included a snapshot of on this slide. Those will go out this week, and then we also sent everybody emails, but if you have questions, please let us know. We're excited about this change and hope that it opens the door for some companies who had graduated from various countries. All right. Well, there is my contact information, Danielle@susta.org. I think everybody has my, my contact information from emailing you about this webinar, but there it is. And I am now passing the presenter privileges to Roseanne, and she will continue with the webinar. All right, and Roseanne, we can't hear you.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, there you are. Yes.
Do you hear me, Danielle? Yes, perfect. Yes. Hi. Yep. Hi. Well, my name is Roseanne, and as Danielle also said, I am working for Phaff Export Marketing, and we are SUSTA's European consultant already now for more than 13 years. We are located in the Netherlands, and our company only focused on agri-food sector, so we do have a lot of experience within this agri-food industry in Europe. We have a large network, we know a lot of buyers, and we know what it is to export. So as Danielle also said, I will be present at the show for any help or advice, so please feel free to contact me at any time. But let's start with a little bit more about Europe. I know most of you are already experienced exporters, and I met some of you already last year, and therefore I will try to keep this a little bit short. And during the Fruit Logistica, we will have individual one-on-one meetings together in which I can answer all your questions and I give you advice based on your own products and your own individual questions. And also before the show, during the show, also after the show, feel free to contact me at any time if you have questions about Europe, your product, buyers, labeling, whatever. Well, first of all, Europe has one customs zone, which means that once your product is in Europe, it can travel freely all over the different countries. Market size and seasonal demands make, I think, the most attractive points of Europe. We have a population of more than 500 million consumers, and Europe is responsible for 45% of the global trade value of fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's quite a lot. It's a mature market, diverse market of produce, and the overall demand is large and relatively stable, but short-term needs and prices change regularly, so keep that in mind. Please also keep in mind that although it's Europe, it's not one country, and every country has different consumers, different habits. Sometimes they even have their own rules, own logistics. Some have their own currency, etc. And also consumption value and patterns, they are different in each region. You can roughly group European countries in 3 different regions, although of course reality is more complex, but I think it will give you a little bit of an overview. For example, in the northwestern part of Europe, here, the purchase power is highest, and the market is dominated by large retail chains that maintain high standards of quality and high standards of food safety. Then we have the southern part of Europe, over here. And that's traditionally strong production region of fruit and vegetables. And in Spain, Italy, Portugal, the consumption is even far above average, especially for fruits. Consumers in this region often consider taste to be more important than technical quality of the products. So that's already a difference you see between the northwestern part of Europe and the southern part of Europe. Then we have the eastern part of Europe, and international trade and high quality standards are less developed over there. And although import of fruit and vegetables are still small and often supplied by traders from the western part of Europe, as a market, Eastern Europe is in development and has a lot of potential for future growth of foreign supply. So keep that in mind. Last but not least, important are import duties. Keep in mind you have to pay import duties if you want to export to Europe. And if you want to know more about the import duties, please take a look at the custom website. In combination with your HS code, you can find more information. But again, if you would like me to help you with that, please contact me. Let me go to the next slide. Yes. Well, Europe is very demanding about food safety, and you need to meet the various legal and other buyer requirements if you want to export. First of all, GMO is not accepted in Europe, but you probably know that already. And then we have the Global GAP. Global GAP is the most commonly requested certificate scheme, and it's essential for exporting fresh produce to Europe. To explain a little bit more, the Global GAP is a trademark and a set of standards for good agricultural practices, GAP. It's a pre-farm gate standard that covers whole agricultural production process from before the plant is in the ground to the non-processed product. And this global GAP has become a minimum standard for most European supermarkets. So it is very important to be global GAP certified if you want to export to Europe. And then we have maximum residue levels, MRL. To avoid health and environmental risks, the European Union has set a maximum residue levels for pesticides in and on food products. And if your product contains more than allowed, then it will be withdrawn from the European market. More and more buyers will ask upfront information about your pesticide spray program and records, so please know that before you participate at the show. And you can use the EU pesticides database. There's a link behind the blue letters. And on that site, you can find more information on the MRL and the MRLs that are relevant for your own product. Preparation. Well, preparation is important. Be professional and well prepared. The European produce sector is a dynamic sector, and it's full of new opportunities, so it's an exciting market. But when looking for potential buyers, you need to be well prepared, of course. So some tips on my side. Please know your strengths and weaknesses. Know the markets, know the competitors, for example, before you are participating at the show. Think about your terms of payment and terms of delivery strategy. It's now important to know that up front. If you would like to know more about terms of payment and terms of delivery and how to develop a strategy, please contact me. Know that we are metric. We are metric in Europe, and when you are talking about miles and inches, we are talking about kilometers and centimeters. And we are quite polite here in Europe, so when you are talking about your products and explaining the metrics, the sizes in inches and ounces, then we will say, oh, yeah, but really we do not understand. So know your sizes, the metric sizes of your products before you are going to participate. Well, doing business in Europe, it requires proactive attitude. You need to be professional and do your best to comply with the demands of the buyer. The buyer will expect a good communication skill and prompt response. European buyers expect clear and direct communication 24/7. And they want to know more about your business. So have an informative website can be of help. Bring business cards. Make sure you have specification sheets with you, and make sure you do proper follow-up as soon as possible. I can also suggest to bring some photos of your plant or your farm to show the buyer what it looks like. Then another tip I can give you is already upfront, use the Fruit Logistica online catalog. Online you can use it already now, and the printed version I will give you during the show. This catalog is, for example, a good source of information about professional importers in Europe. The online catalogs have search engines, and you can use them to find buyers per product or product group. And they offer relevant information such as buyer websites and contact details. So please take a look at that and try to be prepared. Before the show, I will also send you a small document with an overview of the most important players in Europe for your products. And I would advise you to take a look at the companies and to see if they are also present at the show, because then you also can visit their booths as well. Well, again, if you have any questions or if you need advice on the EU market, on buyers, about labeling, rules, regulations, all other questions, please know you can always contact us. So I write my contact details below on the screen, yeah, feel free to contact me. I would now like to give the word to Victoria, and she will give you a little bit more information about practical subjects of this show. Victoria, please move to your slide.
Thanks, Roseanne. My name is Victoria Mejia, and I am SUSTA's U.S. consultant. I work closely with our U.S. exhibitors and our Departments of Ag representatives, as well as other stakeholders to help you prepare for the show, and I've been in contact with many of you. But I am going to review some of the practical information that is provided to you in the pre-travel document that we send every year before the show. Just quickly, we all know that Fruit Logistica is a very important show for fresh products, but it's always nice to see the figures, and it is a show that is truly international in scope. It attracts 3,200 exhibitors annually and 78,000 trade visitors, and 85% of those visitors come from over 135 countries, so it is truly an international show and very important. The show itself is located in Berlin, and we give the address here below just in case any of you have questions about the specific location. Roseanne, would you mind going to the next slide? So the Fruit Logistica trade show hours for the public, the show begins at 9 a.m. It opens to the public at 9 a.m. on February 5th and closes at 6 daily, and goes on February 6th, February 7th, same hours. Exhibitors can arrive at the show 1 hour earlier, so they can arrive daily from 8 a.m. to prepare their booth, and they can stay until 7 p.m. The important thing to keep in mind is that the exhibitors are required to stay all days of the show. Booths cannot be unattended, and the show organizers are quite strict about enforcing this policy. So please keep that in mind and do not leave your booth unattended. Booth setup day will take place on Tuesday, February 4th from 2 p.m. The show grounds open a bit earlier, but we recommend that exhibitors don't arrive before 2 because there are last-minute touches sometimes that are being made, as you can see from the photo there. You know, there's some last-minute details that take place in the earlier hours, so please don't arrive until after 2. And the SUSTA Pavilion is located in Hall 23, booth A10. Roseanne, Phaff, and Victor, Phaff, and SUSTA's activity managers will be on site from booth setup day to help you with any questions or with decorating. Rosanne, would you mind going to the next slide? So here's the map of the exhibition grounds. Again, SUSTA is located in Hall 23, and the closest entrance to the SUSTA Pavilion is going to be Hall 19, which is in the upper top of this map. Again, you're going to have this, you have all of this information in the pre-travel document. So if we can go on to the next slide. This is a close-up detail of the USA Pavilion, showing the USA Lounge in A05. The SUSTA Pavilion is A10, and at the upper right, you see the full Hall 23 floor plan. The highlighted block in red are the section that consists of the USA Pavilion with SUSTA near the entrance to that hall. So we're in a very good location. This is a rendering of the SUSTA Pavilion. As you can see, it is a modern open concept design. It's a custom design with a modern marketplace theme, and has a meeting lounge that's available to you for additional meeting space, as well as in the center, and Rosanne will talk more about this, we will have an executive chef to help promote your products. But the pavilion is co-branded with your company logo and your company name, and has a very beautiful, large open space that really stands out among the other pavilions. So if you don't mind changing the slide. The exhibitor passes have been mailed to all of our exhibitors. One important thing to keep in mind is that you will need an official ID, such as a passport, to enter the show. It's, if you look at the highlighted section at the bottom of the example printed pass, it actually states on the pass that to please always show the pass with a valid identification document. So please remember to bring ID to the show every day. And the printed, the exhibitor pass was, has been provided to you in two different formats. As a printed pass, which you need to print and physically display at the show if you choose to display the printed pass, or alternatively, you can just display your, if you don't mind going back to that other slide, Rosanne, alternatively, you can just present the e-ticket, and they are different looking passes. And again, the show organizers are quite strict. They will not accept the printed pass as a PDF on your phone, and they will not accept the e-ticket as a printed pass. You have to keep them and use them as they're meant to be used. So these passes allow admission on all days as well as on the booth setup day. But if you have any difficulty with anything, again, Rosanne is at the show, and you have her contact details, and she is there to help you with any questions that might arise. If you can go on to the next slide, please. Purchased, a couple of you needed extra passes, and if you have purchased a pass, you will notice that it has the words DFR Trade Visitor and beneath it Company Representative on the printed pass. Just please note that these passes function exactly the same as the ordinary exhibitor passes, and they also grant admission on all days of the show. You can get in early as during exhibitor hours, and these also have been provided to you in two different formats, the printed or the electronic ticket. But once again, you will need an official ID to present at the show along with the pass to get in. If you could go on to the next slide, please. So for booth setup day, February 4th, the USA Pavilion organizer has advised that you are able to enter the show with your exhibitor pass. And again, bring your ID, and any difficulties, please contact Rosanne, who will be on site. If we could go on to the next one. Okay, so to get to the show, Germany is great for providing you many different options for getting to the show, either shuttle, taxi, car, or public transportation. There are 2 shuttles that operate from both airports. Both international airports have airport shuttles. This is covered in more detail in the pre-travel document, but quickly you have the option if you wanted to travel straight from the airport to the showgrounds. There is a shuttle that operates from Tegel Airport, the airport that's closest to the showgrounds, and that goes from February 4th, booth setup day, as well as every day of the show, and the schedule is listed and detailed in the pre-travel documents as well. Similarly, for the second airport, there is also a shuttle, and the shuttle operates, again, from booth setup day from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every 30 minutes, or during the days of the show, February 5th through the 7th, every 30 minutes. If you could go to the next slide, please. In addition to the airport shuttles, there is a free hotel shuttle, and this URL, you can download the complete schedule and route map, but if you are staying at one of the many hotels along that route, you can just hop on the shuttle and get to the show during the show days. On your printed exhibitor pass, you will note that there's actually a list of public transportation as well that you can take to the show, and that's in the right side picture on this slide. And so those are also options. But to recap, you have the airport shuttle, the hotel shuttles, there is public transportation, and of course taxis, though taxis are quite a lot of traffic, road traffic, so it is probably easier if you can take one of the other options. And for more information, the Fruit Logistica website has a lot of detailed information about all of the transportation options. So if we could go to the next slide, the USA Pavilion Lounge, again, is located at stand A05. It offers complimentary light breakfast and lunch for USA Pavilion exhibitors and their accompanied guests. The USA Lounge can also be used for meetings. So you have not only the SUSTA Pavilion Lounge, but we also have access to the USA Pavilion Lounge. You will receive on-site stickers that will allow admission to the USA Pavilion Lounge. So look for those when you get to the show. And again, your guest must be accompanied by yourself, by USA Pavilion exhibitors. There will be complimentary Wi-Fi at the show, and we are lucky, being in the USA Pavilion exhibiting with SUSTA, that we get Wi-Fi that is just for USA Pavilion exhibitors. So the login code will be provided to you on site. And the power plug adapters. So as many of you know, Germany uses different types of outlets than the US. So on the left-hand side, we've got the type for Germany is type C and type F. And obviously in the US, we have type A and type B. So please just keep in mind that you need to get a travel adapter, not a converter. Your all portable electronic devices should have no need of that. So just get yourself an adapter. And the dress code. So as many repeat exhibitors will note, the dress code for the show is professional business attire. It is a bit more formal than we are in the United States, and even the visitors, as you can see, even in this photo, it's not uncommon to see business suits, and so we strongly recommend that men and women both wear suit jackets and formal business attire. And I think that is it. We can go back to Rosanne.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Victoria, for this information. Weather. Yeah, well, as I said, I am located in the Netherlands, and that's not far away from Berlin, so I thought maybe it's good if I present this part of the presentation. And I can tell you that it's pretty chilly nowadays. Although it's not as cold as it can be around this time of the year, but it is pretty chilly, so be prepared that it can be cold in Berlin. And I checked the weather forecast, and it's about 8 degrees biometric Celsius or 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can rain. But we are, of course, during the day in the exhibitor halls, and the temperature can be different over there. Often it's very cold on the Saturday because then the doors are open and trucks are driving in and out, so be prepared. And during show days it can be cold, it can be comfortable, it can be warm, you never know during shows. So be prepared, but keep in mind, as Victoria also said, professional business attire is very recommended. Well, then we have the executive chef again this year. Chef Kurt Fleischfresser, he will be present with his colleague, and he will give live cooking demonstrations all day long, and he shows and demonstrates our products, our US products, your products, to the European buyers. He promotes your products, and it attracts a lot of visitors. So I think it is absolutely great that he will be with us this year again. Well, Danielle also mentioned it in the beginning of this webinar. We have some special guests this year. The commissioner, the deputy commissioner, and the executive director of SUSTA, they will all visit our pavilion. They will visit the pavilion during Saturday, on the Tuesday, and they also will be there on the Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, I think they will also would also like to meet you. So please be prepared for their visit. And then on Wednesday, we have the Deputy Chief of Mission, Robin Quinville, will visit the US Pavilion on Wednesday from 1 till 2:30. And I don't know why it's just end, but he will also visit the SUSTA Pavilion, and they want to meet you. Well, safe travels. We are looking forward to a successful show, and I see you in Berlin. Danielle will send this presentation to you all, same as the recorded version. And please, if you have questions, you can always contact one of us. Thank you very much. And Danielle, would you like to close this webinar? Or, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Roseanne, and thank you so much, Victoria. That was very thorough, and I think and hope everybody feels prepared for the show. Best of luck with your travels and exhibiting, and I think you have everybody's contact information, so let us know if you have any questions leading up to the show. I will be sending out the PDF of the presentations as well as a recording of the webinar today. So you should have that handy, and yeah, best of luck. Thank you all for being here with us today.